Assalamualaikum and hi. In this video, I'm going to go through with you the solutions for Java exercise number 8, where for this exercise, we focus mainly on the pre and post increment and decrement. So here the question is determine and write down the output for the following code segment. We have 3 questions here. What I've done is I have run the code here and you can see the result here. But what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go through with you step by step how we actually come out with these output. So let's start with 8.1 here. We have integer I and j. We also have a result initialized as 0. For j, we initialize it as 5 here. We then have a for loop here where we say I is equal to 0, I less than 8, and you have these I plus equal 3. So normally what you see is I plus plus, but as we mentioned previously, you can actually do I plus equal, I multiply equal whatsoever based on the scenario given. So in this case, we know that I plus equal 3, this is actually equal to I plus 3, which means in each of the loop, the I will increase by 3 rather than just 1 if you use I plus plus. And we have these expressions here, result plus equal I plus plus multiply minus j. So you can see here, this is plus plus after I, so that will be the post increment, whereas for minus j, that will be the pre-decrement because it's minus minus. Now, we also know that result plus equal I plus plus multiply minus j, that will be equal to result equal to result plus I plus plus multiply minus j. Okay, and then we print the I, j, and also the result in each of the loop. So here we can see that obviously you have 2 loops here. And if we do this or we go through this, for each of the loop, you will see for the first loop here, we have the I is actually equal to 0. Okay, so that will be my first loop, I equal to 0. And I'm going to calculate my result here. My result will be equal to result. We know that the result here is 0, so I put in 0 here. And we'll plus I plus plus. So I plus plus here, that is the post increment, which means I'm going to do the operation first, then only I will increase the value of I by 1. So here my I will remain as 0, okay, for that specific operation. And multiply with minus j, which means I'm going to decrease the value of j by 1. So in this case, my j is initialized as 5. So 5 minus 1, that will be equal to 4. Okay, and if we look into this, now we have the result will be equal to 0 plus 0 multiply 4, that will be equal to 0 as well. That's why I have the result equal to 0. So you can see here, I is 1, okay, j is 4, result is 0. So why I is 1? Because after I display the result here, or after I do the or perform the operation, then only I print my I here. Okay, so my I here will be initially that will be 0 when I perform the operations, and then I do plus plus here. So now my I will be equal to 1. Okay, then my j remain as 4 because I already do the decrement here. Then my result will remain as the same because after I print I and j, there's no more other operations involved here. So I use the value from the initial operation, which is here. I get result is equal to 0. Now I'm going to move on to the second loop, right? So I have the first loop, I initialize as 0. And then because of that I++, my I is now equal to 1. Okay, so for the second loop here, I'm going to put it down here. My I is actually equal to 1, but I will need to do the update here, which is I plus equal 3, and we have said already that will be equal to I is equal to I plus 3. So now my I will be equal to 1 plus 3, that will be equal to 4. So for the second loop, after the update, my I is now equal to 4. Okay, and I'm going to perform the operations to calculate the value of result, just like what we have did for the first loop. So my result now, what is the value of my result? My result is still 0 from the first loop, as you can see here. And I'm going to do a plus here. Now, I plus plus. I know that the value of my I is 4. I do I++ because again, this is the post increment. So I'm going to perform the operation first. So my I will still remain as 4. And I'm going to multiply with J. So what is the value of my J? My J from the previous loop is actually 4, as you can see. So here I'm going to do minus J, that is the pre-decrement. So I'm going to decrease the value of J by 1 first and do the operation. So here 4 minus 1, that will be equal to 3 here. So my result should be 0 plus 4 multiplied 3, that will be 12. Okay, so my result is 12. Now, when I do the operations, my I is equal to 4. After I perform the operations, then I do a plus here, plus here. So 4 plus 1, now my I is equal to 5. My J is still the same, which is 3 here, and my result is 12. So you'll see in the second loop, I is 5, J is 3, result is 12. Now let's move on to the third loop. So for the third loop here, we need to first check on the condition. So we need to do the update first. So my I is now equal to 5, 5 plus 3. So the update will be 5 plus 3. Now my I is equal to 8. So I here, 8 is less than 8. So now the conditions is false. Okay, so I'm not going to continue with the third loop because my condition is false. So here I can only see the result from the first loop and the result from the second loop. Let's move on to the second question, 8.2. Integer x is equal to 5, y is equal to 4. I have one integer z, and I'm going to print plus x plus a white space here plus x, okay, plus x, and I'm going to do z is equal to y plus minus 3, and then system.out.print. Okay, so here my x is equal to 5. So when I print plus x, obviously that will be equal to 6 because I do a pre-increment here. So 5 plus 1, x will be equal to 6. Now, plus with a white space here. So basically, it's a string concatenation, which we have learned earlier. So that's why you'll see a space here. And my x here, of course, now my x after the plus x, my x is 6. So when I print my x again, that will be 6. Okay, so we have the first x is 6, the second x is also 6. Now I'm going to print a z, but of course we need to look into the operation here. Z is equal to y plus minus 3. So again, this is a post increment. What does it mean by a post increment? It means that I'm going to perform the operation first, then only I increase y by 1, y plus. So here my z will be equal to 4, okay, because I initialize y as 4 here. Okay, so 4 minus 3, so my z will be equal to 1. Okay, but again, if let's say I print y here after I perform the operation, so y, you were supposed to see 3. Okay, so let's run this. So you'll see 661. Oh, sorry, because it's plus plus, so that will be 5, right? 4 plus 1. I just calculate it as 4 minus 1. So 4 plus 1, that will be 5. But when we perform the operation, that will be 4, because we haven't do any additions first. Why? Because again, it is a post increment. Okay, so 4 minus 1, that will be equal to 4 minus 3, that will be equal to 1. So when I print z here, that will be 1. Okay, to avoid confusions, I'm just gonna comment this out. I'm going to run this again. That's why you see this is the x plus plus 6, x is 6, and z here is equal to 1. And also, one of the things that you need to take note of is that you can see everything is print in a single line, because what we use here is print rather than print line. So if you do print line, then of course you will see the numbers display or printed to the console in new line. But here, because we just use print, you see everything display in the same line. You will have the white space here, because here again, I perform the string concatenations to add the white space. Finally, we have 8.3 here. We have 3 variables, and then you will see some, here will be the post increment, and this is the pre-decrement. Okay, so let's look into this. Integer x is equal to 5. I do system.out print x. Obviously, that will be 5. So my x will be equal to 5. That's why you see here you have a 5. Okay, and integer y is equal to x plus plus. Okay, so this is the post increment. Okay, which means that I'm going to assign the value first to the variables, then only I increase x by 1. So in this case, that's why you will see y is still equal to 5. Okay, because the initial value of x is 5. Okay, so I assign the value of that 5 to y, so y will still be 5. Now integer z is equal to minus y, because now my y is equal to 5. Okay, so I have this is what we call as the pre-decrement, which means that I'm going to minus the value of y by 1, then only I assign that value to z. So 5 minus 1, because the value of y is 5. So 5 minus 1 is equal to 4. So my integer z is equal to 4 here. And you will see here 5, 5, 4. Again, everything is printed in the same line because I'm using print rather than print line. And unlike the previous example, I didn't add in any string concatenations. That's why you see everything is displayed in one line without any white space. So I think that's it for the solutions of Java exercise number 8. And hopefully through this exercise, you gained a better understanding related to the pre, post increment and decrement. If you have any questions, please post your comments at the bottom of this video. Thank you very much.